Senator Cornyn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Judge Barrett, welcome to you and your family. The Senate Judiciary Committee undertakes no more important duty than the one we undertake today, considering the nomination for a seat on the United States Supreme Court. As the chairman said, these used to be routine. Even the two justices who were once considered the ideological bookends on the court received overwhelming support in the Senate. While the two justices had a different judicial philosophy and were nominated by presidents of opposing parties, the Senate used to recognize that exceptional qualifications were all that was required for a seat on the court. Throughout your impressive career, you've earned the respect of those who share your views on the law, as well as those who do not. As Justice Ginsburg said of her unlikely friendship with Justice Scalia, you can disagree without being disagreeable. But I don't want to imply that you disagree frequently. In fact, during your time on the Seventh Circuit, you've sided with your colleagues more than 95% of the time. And when you've had the rare disagreement, your opinions attack the ideas, not the person. We could use more of that. Your collegiality has been demonstrated in the numerous letters pouring in from your colleagues, clerks, students, virtually everybody with whom you come in contact. Folks with widely different judicial philosophies agree that you are brilliant, respectful, kind, and when you disagree, you do so without personal rancor or malice. While your qualifications and reputation are on par with those justices who have sat in this seat before you, the political climate in which you are being vetted is quite different, as we all know. What our colleagues on the other side of the aisle put Justice Kavanaugh through 2 years ago was an absolute disgrace and hopefully a low point for the Senate. They and some of their allies sought to destroy the personal character of a good man with innuendo, misinformation, and outright lies. I hope they resist the temptation to repeat that during this hearing. I do remain concerned, Judge, about some of the earlier attacks on your faith. In a recent Wall Street Journal column, a Wisconsin Supreme Court justice wrote, to put it bluntly, America's secular cultural elites aren't sure that a faithful Christian can be entrusted with the law. A former senior aide to former Majority Leader Harry Reid recently said the groups want blood. Democrats on and off the committee want a real fight. But let me be clear, Judge, as you know, there's no religious test to serve on the Supreme Court. Why? Because the Constitution says so. And I can only hope that the civility that you've shown through your professional work will be afforded to you through these proceedings. But Judge, there's a question that comes up in my discussions with my constituents that's really more basic and more personal. They want to know how you do it. How do you and your husband manage two full-time professional careers and at the same time take care of your large family? I'll bet there are many young women, like my own two daughters, who marvel at the balance that you've achieved between your personal and professional life. As is customary and important, I also look forward to revisiting the appropriate role of judges in our constitutional republic, something that you can see there appears to be some dispute about here. You and I both know that judges should not be policymakers. But could it be that one of the reasons these confirmation hearings have become so contentious is because some Americans have given up on the idea of fair and impartial judges who do not pick winners and losers, that they've given up on an independent judiciary? I hope not. Judges should not be unelected super legislators, giving their political allies wins they could not secure through the rough and tumble of the political process. Our founders, through the Constitution, provided that judges would be independent of political pressure. Chief Justice Roberts reminded all of us recently that we do not have Obama judges or Trump judges, Bush judges or Clinton judges. And ideally, that is true. You've said judges constrain themselves by making a choice to follow the law where it leads, trying to check their own preferences at every turn. In the end, a judge's internal compass, her commitment to the rule of law, rather, is the most important constraint upon any sort of judicial willfulness. But you're being asked to abandon that, Judge. You stand accused of intending to violate your oath before you even take it. Further, our Democratic colleagues want you to guarantee a result in a case as a quid pro quo for your confirmation. It's outrageous. Well, they've said that if this confirmation proceeds, they intend to pack the court with more justices who will turn the Supreme Court into a genuine second legislative body. We heard what Justice Ginsburg had to say about that. That would be a terrible mistake. Judge Barrett, I'm confident that at the end of this hearing, your stellar character, credentials, and body of work as a judge will demonstrate that you understand the limited but important role of the judiciary under our Constitution. I'm confident that you will demonstrate that you will faithfully and fairly interpret the text of the law and the Constitution and dutifully apply them to the disputes that come before you. And I'm confident that at the end of this process, you will be confirmed to the United States Supreme Court.